The album that we are going to be discussing is the brand new album South of Here. Now on screen. South of Here, the fourth full-length studio release from Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. It was released on June 28th, 2024. All right, Eric, your thoughts on this one, because I know I think you're a big fan of him.
I am a big fan of him.
For me, this is like first real listening to his music. So
yeah.
A little bit of a different perspective from the two of us.
I absolutely love this album. I think it's great. I just love the soul from this album that a lot of albums just don't give anymore. What's interesting about this band is Nathan Rateliff. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Rateliff. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. But anyways, he started off as like a singer-songwriter, kind of did a solo thing. And this is his side project, which is bigger than what he has done solo.
Wait, question. Bigger as in popularity or bigger as in just like sound?
Popularity.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. So those of you who don't know who this band is, they're the band that does that Son of a Bitch song. You know, son of a bitch, right. Give me a drink. And it's very catchy.
I know that song. Yep,
right?
yep.
I have got a chance to see these guys live. They opened for City in Color, which is an interesting opener because they were so energetic and so full that it went to City in Color, which I like City in Color, but it was very mellow, and I felt like it should have been switched, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this band, if you are like, yeah, these songs sound good, you need to see this band live because the energy that this band gives is like no other band that you see today. Just the fullness of their sound is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just going to go through the song list here. I'm interested to see how your thoughts are on this. But one of my favorite songs on this album is Get Used to the Night. I just love that guitar kind of sound, and then at the end they just like full horns.
Yep.
And it's like get used to the night. Yeah, right. It's so good. There were like the middle part was definitely slower, but then it picked up at the end. I thought in overall the album was arranged pretty good. So I didn't really have any complaints with that. I did like the closer song.
Time makes
is very good, but
makes
this is
fools of us all.
Yeah, this is definitely a Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats sounding album for sure.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on this?
I like the album, and I do agree with you. It's like it's a very energetic, like you can really feel a lot of the soul in this album. And like it doesn't sound like a lot of music that's out today in terms of like what is released today is just so polished and clean, and everything is just like to the grid and like auto-tuned to shit. There are points where he like does not hit the note, but they power through it and it sounds good. Like if you really nitpicked, it's like, oh, that note, he didn't really hit that note, but it's done with like so much conviction. It's just like, damn, that was good.
So he's got a good voice.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was like, oh, I appreciate like sort of the rawness of it. Like it's like perfect in its imperfection, I guess. So like, yeah, I really like enjoyed this album. Now, I think like my when we get to the end of this, but like my critical score, I feel like is going to be higher than my enjoyment score, because I think ultimately this style of music is not really in my wheelhouse of things I enjoy listening to all the time. I did like a lot of the songs, but I think this style of music isn't like what I typically would listen to. But I did like the album, and I do agree. The closer, "Time Makes Fools of Us All," is a great song. Like I actually listened to that one on repeat multiple times. It's not that long. I think it's like 2 minutes 30 seconds. So nice, short and sweet. But I don't know. I thought I didn't do like a deep dive on the lyrics, but that one, like, I felt like it was coming from a really like dark place. And
Yeah.
I really appreciated like just like the honesty that you could feel from that song.
Yeah, and you make a good point because and that's what I really liked about Get Used to the Night. Because he has a line in there. I'm just gonna here, so it doesn't we don't get copyrighted here. I'm gonna pull up the lyrics. When he says in the first because the choruses are different in that,
Oh,
he
right.
says, what does he say here? Hang on a second. I used to be a proud fucking fool,
Hmm.
right? And that's in the course of the first part, and it's almost like this guy that's kind of like lived a life, and he's almost like in his 30s or 40s, and he was so it's almost like he's having a midlife crisis,
Right.
and he's trying to get used to the night, which is this darkness that's kind of around him, which I thought it just really hit like this, like, oh, this song's so emotional, and he hits that soulness to it,
Hmm.
that's that like nobody else really does nowadays,
Yeah.
right? Like you can really feel what he's singing about.
Yeah. And not to bring this back to last week's episode where we talked about John Bon Jovi, but like this is just
Mhm.
on a completely different level in terms of subject matter. Like this feels like quote unquote older, more mature person is actually like writing and singing these songs.
Mm. Which was
Whereas
what Bon Jovi should be singing
yeah,
about.
John Bon Jovi should be writing
Mhm.
songs like this. Maybe not in like
Mhm.
the specific style, but lyrical content, like this is what he should be talking about. Like time makes
Mhm.
fools of us all. Like that is an
Mhm.
old person song. Young people don't write songs like that, right?
Mhm.
But like anyway, like the subject matter of this album was
Mhm.
just like so on point and you just like felt every emotion that he was singing. It was like
Oh
I
yeah,
really like this album.
this album is so good. It's it's just, yeah, like the maturity. I love the grittiness behind it too.
Mhm.
Like you said, like it has that like very raw sound. Like it almost sounds like gritty. Like you're in like it feels like those movies like Oh Brother Where Art Thou with George Clooney, like kind of like that like down south
Right.
America, like in the bayou, and it's just like you have this full like this type of music playing
Yep.
at like a cocktail party or something, like this is, I love this type of music. I think it's great, and it's just you don't get that feeling a lot from new bands nowadays like that this band
Yeah, for
gives you.
sure. I do want to ask you the opener for this album, David and Goliath. Very Beatles sounding to me. I
Hmm.
thought I was listening to a Beatles record when we first put this in. Do you think this song fits on this album? Because I think that'd be my one criticism about this one. I feel like the rest of the album tonally all sort of in the same wheelhouse. David and
Hmm.
Goliath, I thought was like, this is very Beatles. This is very 60s hippie music.
It was definitely different. I will agree with you.
Yeah,
um you could have probably picked a different song
yeah.
um to start it off, but uh it's I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good song, but it definitely did have a Beatles feel to it. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, I didn't mind it either. I just found it like weird that this one was on the album one and then it was
Mm.
the opener for the album. It should I for me I would have like put a different song or just like gotten rid of it completely cuz tonally
Mm-hmm.
it was just like different from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it's still a good song. I still like that song.
I
Um
mean,
mhm.
would you go listen to their old stuff after hearing this?
I'm on the fence. If I'm being completely honest, I'm on the fence. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
like the album, I still think it's not the style of music that I'm particularly drawn to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like I'm going to listen to this album again and like I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be opposed to listening to more of his stuff, but I don't think I would go out of my way to be like, okay, let's listen to like his first album, listen to his
Mm-hmm.
second album, like go through his old discography. I'm not completely convinced yet to
Okay.
to put the time in
Okay.
for that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but
Fair enough.
yeah, like if there was nothing else to listen to, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I, I would say that their first album was really like when I heard them, I was like, I haven't heard anything like this
Mm,
like for a while, right? Unless you go back into like old like 60s kind of Motown feel.
right.
But it's not really Motown. It's kind of like a mix of like southern rock, Motown, a little like
It's a very
gospel.
yeah, it's a very New Orleans type of sound, right?
Yeah,
It's got
and
like that swing. It's got that Motown. It's got
yeah.
yeah.
So when I first heard their first album, I was blown away by these guys. I was like, these guys really are amazing. And when their second album came out, I was like, okay, like their first album still kicks ass, and then their third album came out, and it was, I would say, up to par with the second album. But I would think that this is a good comparison to the first one. So
Oh,
if I had to
okay.
choose another album for you to listen to, it would be their very first album.
The first album. Okay.
And that's the song, that's the album with the son of a bitch on it.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I could see that. Okay, cool. Final thoughts ratings. What are we gonna give this one?
I absolutely love this album. I could not stop listening to it, and it made me go back and listen to their other songs and like their other albums, I should say. I will have to say this: if you somewhat like these guys, even if you like the song "Just Son of a Bitch," go see these guys live. The entertainment value is worth every dollar that you spent. Because I remember sitting there and my wife next to me was like, she's never seen like a band. Like usually she's seen like country bands, maybe five, maybe six people, but this guy had like eight or nine people on stage, and they're all playing like horn, saxophone, like trombone, trumpet. He's playing keys while there's two guitar players, and then so there's just like a full band. And I remember looking at her face in awe, being like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "This is music." So I am going to give this album a 10 out of 10.
Oh, damn. The first
I'm
10
giving
out of
this
10 for
album
the year.
a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love these guys. And I think this album is almost like it's pretty much perfect.
Wow.
I wouldn't even say almost perfect because I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
It
you're
is
giving
perfect.
it is perfect.
It is perfect in my eyes.
Um wow, a full 10. That's nuts. It's a good album though. I'm not going to fault you for that one. Actually my score's pretty close. I'm giving it a 9. 9 out of 10.
Bam!
It's
9 out of
like
10.
I can't really find much fault with it. Like it's
Mhm.
just raw, it's passionate, the songs are great, the arrangement's great, sounds like the recording's great. It's just I don't know. My personal enjoyment of it, it's definitely a
Mhm.
lower score than it is a 9.
Mhm.
Uh but like it's hard to really figure out like how this thing is can be better outside of like just if it has like one really big chorus that you just like remember for the end of time, but like
Mhm.
that doesn't happen. So, yeah, 9 out of 10 for this one. I think it's a really great album, and I would definitely like recommend people listening to it because like it's just great music. That I do agree. There aren't many bands that put this much passion into the music.
Mhm. And Cam, if they do come your way, you need to go see them live because it will blow your mind.
Let's see. Let's see. Are they on tour right now?
They finished their tour last, I want to say in October. When did I see City in Color? Maybe it was November.
They are
I can't.
currently in Europe.
They're currently in Europe.
Tomorrow
Well,
they
they haven't.
play Switzerland.
They haven't played, like they haven't done anything with this album yet. Um,
Oh, okay.
so I think it's coming.
But in August they're in the U.S. somewhere, Midwest.
Hmm.
Maybe I don't know.
Oh.
Without like trying to figure out. Sorry, I'm just gonna scroll through this real quick to see if I could find. I see Philadelphia, but it doesn't look like they're going past that. New York is the last date, March of next year. Yeah, they're not coming
Ooh.
to Canada. Yeah.
Well, they were in Vancouver in October, November-ish, kind of last year.
Okay.
So they might come back. They'll come back for sure.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But
Oh, Chasing Dragonflies, you're gonna come with me when if they do come here. Okay. Okay. Let's do it.
unbelievable show. It
Let's
is
do it.
insane. So 10 out of 10. I'm going to continue to listen to this because it's so goddamn good.
Nice. All right. Exciting. Exciting. It only took us until July to get a 10 out of 10 record, so not bad.
Not bad at all.
Okay, so that was our discussion on the South of Here. For those of you that are following along with us every single week, the album that we will be discussing is the brand new Zach Bryan album, The Great American Bar Scene. Country music? Is that correct?
Country music for sure.
Oh, it's like just straight country music. No like hybrid thing here. Yeah.
I will have to say Zach Bryan does have an old schoolness that a lot of country artists don't have now.
Okay.
Which is what I appreciate about
Okay.
him. So
All right, cross my fingers. Maybe I will have a 10 out of 10 album for next week. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, perfect. Well, that was the Crossroads Music Podcast. We're here live at twitch.tv/the Crossroads Music Podcast every Monday at 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. Catch us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Discord, all the places where you get your podcasts. Chase Dragonflies. Thanks again for the raid. And that's it for this week. We'll see you all next Monday.